You are now listening to the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
The following podcast will contain spoilers, tangents, hot takes, and excessive foul language. Viewer discretion is advised. Enjoy the show.
Welcome back to Frightmares Podcast. I'm your host, Austin Proctor, and joining me today for episode 372 is my beautiful wife, Gabrielle Proctor.
Hello.
Hello. Today, on the first installment of Vampril's Bite, we are discussing our essential pick, Fright Night from 1985, a movie that shows us why neighbors should mind their own fucking business.
It's true.
Let's see where it lands in the Nightmare Index. Real quick here, from the corrections department, while rating off my Scott Derrickson ratings, that's too many ratings, I said 4.5, 7, 8, 8, 8, 8. That's because I was looking at the IMDb ratings and then converting them to a 5-star rating system that I apparently gave up on after the first two. So it would be 4.5, 3.5, 4, 4, 4, 4. Really got to get with that corrections department and have that fixed, which is me.
QC in this podcast is terrible.
It's horrible.
It's falling apart.
So, you are just so far ahead of me in life.
196 for
Goals.
movies this year.
God Lord.
I'm absolutely plowing through movies.
I am at 130 something.
There's a stark difference, though. It's not a huge difference, but I do actually log every single damn time my child makes me sit through Super Mario,
I
Luca.
don't.
If I had to sit through it, I'm counting that shit.
You'd think I would do that, but I don't want
You care more about the stats.
Yeah, I'm not having my end of the year wrap up be fucking Encanto 37 times or whatever. No, I don't want that. I want the actual facts.
Nah, I want the actual facts as it pertains to how much did you do that? Because right now I've watched Super Mario 8 times.
Good Lord.
But now we're on a Luca train, and you know what? Luca's cool. It's a fun movie.
Silencio Bruno.
Yes, which our child thinks means shut up. So I've gotten Silencio Bruno'd a few times.
I mean, it does kind of mean, it means silence, but who goes silence to people? I don't do that.
Yeah, you do if you're a bossy toddler. But yeah, catching up on a lot. I have been watching a lot of trash movies recently, a lot of really low-rated movies. My father was so disappointed in my picks that he's like, here's some quality films because what you're doing is a waste of your own time. Like, thank you.
Your Letterboxd stats are not here to impress your father.
No.
You don't need his approval.
You know what? I will say, though, all the things he recommended are highly rated on Letterboxd, and he just had me watch one recently that was really good. You need to watch it, called Eating Raoul.
I've got too much other shit on my plate.
Well, this one's pretty good.
Why do I have shit on my plate?
It's from 1982. It's a dark comedy, and the subject matter makes it weird. My dad recommended it to me, but it's got a 3.5 on Letterboxd, and the two characters, the two main actors in that movie, reprise their roles in Chopping Mall. They play the same characters. But I've only seen Chopping Mall one time, so I wouldn't remember that. So I have to rewatch it now.
It's Chopping Mall just not unheard of. It's the secret sequel to Eating Raoul.
It must be, but I need to watch it so that way I can get the context of that one, because it's 4 years after. The director's not the same, so literally no idea why they're reprising their same characters 4 years later. But it was very funny, very dry, just so worth the watch. He was right. It was very funny and worth the watch.
There would have been a great sequel title for Eating Raoul, Eating More Raoul.
Second helpings.
See, there you go. I heard they're doing a sequel to Fall, and I'm like, what's it going to be called? Fell? Like, what are we doing here? Fall 2? I fell again. I can't get up.
Oh, then you just, yeah, Eating Raoul. Seconds.
What?
Yeah.
I was on Fall. Now you went back to Eating Raoul.
Yeah, because that one's more straight to the point.
Is that the only thing you're going to mention that you watched?
I rewatched She-Devil for the 400th time, thus proving that Meryl Streep is a camp queen.
Uh-huh.
And, of course, I watched the most unhinged Sarah Michelle Gellar movie that is best described by all the reviewers as a fever dream where she is made better at cooking by a sentient crab who changes her life.
What year is that from?
1999, 2 years into
All right,
Buffy.
so we're at Ratatouille. Definitely ripped that off.
It's not a good movie by any means. It's got a lot of...
It doesn't sound good.
It's not good, but I wasn't like, God, this is terrible the whole time. It was more like, what in God's name is happening? But I was also enjoying it. Like, it was a fun, bad movie because it just felt like nothing was off the table.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Food that causes you to weep and you're happy about it is strange.
I'll have what she's having, right?
Yeah, there's a few of those moments in there.
I feel, well, this is a bonus episode, so I won't have a cult movie challenge this week because it's not, I get it. Bonus episodes, there won't be a cult movie challenge. It makes sense. Just hush. Everybody chill. I rewatched Troll Hunter for like the 4th time. Love that movie. Great time. 4.5. We watched Life of the Party with Melissa McCarthy.
Still a gem of a movie. I don't care what anyone says.
Ultimate mom energy. I watched a new movie for this year called, it's spelled Tiresias. I thought it was Tiresias, but it's Tiresias. And that was sent over from AV Entertainment. I didn't know it was 2026 movie, but man, I don't know what happened in that movie. I got excited because it mentioned serpent people in the description, and it felt like there was zero explanation of that in the movie. And then it just ended. So it's one of those, I feel like I need to know about Greek mythology because apparently Tiresias was a blind Apollo something for Greek mythology. I'm like, oh, is this like a metaphor or something?
I'm trying really hard to file through my Xena knowledge, and the name sounds familiar, but I can't place it.
Yeah, it has something to do with Greek mythology, and I feel like you need to know about that to understand this movie. And if you need to understand something like that about your movie, that is not really common knowledge. It's...
I don't think that's necessarily unfair to...
For an indie movie that this is their first time directing, let's not crank out a Greek mythology, metaphor or whatever. I'm just saying.
We have plenty of Shakespeare plays that get turned into movies that you don't know the play. Like, hell, I just found out that, which one is it? It is John Tucker Must Die is a quasi-adaptation of Merry Wives of Windsor. I had no idea.
Okay, let me put it like this then. The Lighthouse is an allegory for Proteus, and his name is escaping me right now.
You got it.
The guy who gave him fire.
Prometheus
and Proteus.
You're welcome.
But you don't have to know that information to enjoy The Lighthouse. It just adds some context. So at base level, you should be able to enjoy what's going on here without having to know, and then the knowledge of that knowledge of the Greek mythology would enhance this. But there's just not really much happening in this movie. I guess that's what I'm trying to get at. If you're going to do an allegory for some Greek myth or whatever, you have to still be able to enjoy the movie at a base level. And it really had me in the first act, but then just kept fizzling off and they weren't explaining fucking anything. And then it just ended. So I was just very underwhelmed because it had a pretty strong start.
I was going to say, there are instances of that where you really need to know the play to really understand the movie.
Right.
Like Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead. Highly rated movie. If you don't know fuck all about Hamlet, that movie makes no sense because those are characters that die at the start of the play. They die like in the very start of that play, and it's basically them as ghosts wandering around the plot of Hamlet.
That sounds fun.
If you don't know Hamlet, you're going to be lost.
Right.
But also, they made that movie with a full, you need to know Shakespeare. We're going to do it a weird way situation.
I'm all for making a movie that you need to know stuff on, but that's usually for like seasoned directors. You don't usually come out of the...
Shutting out the newbies.
I'm just saying you don't typically come swinging out of the gate like you need to know Greek mythology. That's not something the vast majority of Americans, at least, know.
Must have 5 years experience before Austin setting the standard, people.
Yeah, I am.
Come back when you've done more.
I'll come back when I've done more. It's not just it's me too. It's one thing, yeah. And then we, not together, separately, I don't know why, I can't remember. My brain's mush. It's been a long week, even though ill. It's only Wednesday. That's what's going on.
You were ill.
What's the opposite of lucid? Because that's what I'm right now.
Delucid.
Delucid.
That's not a word.
We watched They Will Kill You, starring Zazie Beetz, which this might be a hot take, but I don't feel like the general population who goes to movies knows how to enjoy them anymore. I don't understand what people want.
Nope.
This movie was not only fucking bloody, shot very stylishly, but it was hilarious. And there was probably 12 people in my theater, and me and the 3 people in the back were the only ones laughing at anything. Everyone else was stone-faced. I kept looking around. Am I watching the same movie as all these people?
Oh, I felt myself laughing too loud because I'm the only one. I'm laughing full blast, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'll have to I'm gonna quiet down because nobody else is laughing at this, and that feels weird.
And I'm only mentioning this because we both had the same experience at 2 different theaters. Well,
2 different times.
2 different times of the week. So it's not like it was just some fluke for me. It apparently happened for you as well. So
it was a disappointment. I really wish you had been there so we could have enjoyed that together, because there was so much stuff I wanted to talk to you about while I was watching the movie, and it was so fun. It was just a good time. And yeah, we've talked about this. They feel like people get too hung up on, is it innovative? Is it groundbreaking? It doesn't need to be. Not every movie needs to remake what it means to be in a movie. Everybody will lose their goddamn minds over Dune or anything that who's the director everyone's obsessed with? Christopher Nolan.
I was like, that is so okay, but
Christopher Nolan,
that guy's a fucking brilliant
I know that.
guy.
I'm not saying he's a bad director at all. I'm saying everyone's obsessed with things he does. Okay, realistically, his films follow a formula for how he likes to make films. But you don't hear about anybody going, oh, it's just another Chris Nolan, copy and paste. No! Because Chris Nolan gets a pass because he makes these absolutely massive productions that are really, really well received. But when you get a smaller movie like this, where it's meant to be fun and it's meant to be cheesy, oh, it's a garbage movie. It's not a garbage movie just because it's cheesy.
Yeah.
And it's cheesy intentionally. And they put on a lot of effort to effects, set dressings, choreography. They put in a shit ton of effort and a shit ton of areas, and people are still crapping on it because no one wants to be happy watching movies.
Apparently. That's the vibe I get going to the theater lately, because even Scared to Death, when I saw that, I was the only person laughing at things. And it's like, maybe things make me laugh easily. I don't know. Maybe I just know how to enjoy things more.
Yeah.
If something's funny happening is like, even if it's cheesy and it can still be funny, and no one was laughing. Same thing, Toxic Avenger, when we went. We were the only, except for the people who were clearly stoned, were having a great time in front of us.
The best time.
Yeah, I don't understand. Do people just go to movies not knowing what they're seeing? I mean, we used to.
I did that.
Well, I'm saying we used to do that when, you had to look at movie times in the paper. But now, with all the stuff we have in technology, are people just blind watching movies? I don't know.
And that's the thing, like,
I encourage that, but
there's like so many movies where we talk about this all the time on the podcast. If the effort is there, that means so much. And the effort was clearly there on this movie.
Yeah.
And to me, it paid off really well. But like people, I don't know what it is that people are expecting right now, but it really feels like people only want art house films and only art house films. If it's not art house, it's not brooding, and there's not the suspicious storyline going on right now. Like Baby Doll, that one with Nicole Kidman, that got popular because it's her having an affair with a younger man, but it's this whole like, will they, won't they, what's gonna happen, is there gonna be like this dirty sex thing going on? That is really popular in movies right now. And that seems to be like, oh, if it doesn't bring all that tension and that drama, and people just want that drama to feed off of, then they're not as interested. And
I wonder why they want drama given the current state of this. I don't want to get political.
Yeah. But
never mind.
Like that new Zendaya and Rob Pattinson one that's coming out. I want to see that.
Literally called The Drama.
Exactly. But the whole thing is like, what's the secret she tells? And
yeah.
Someone actually.
Oh, that's that one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, where they're doing the 2 truths and a lie or
tell your most embarrassing secret, and she tells something really awful. Which,
or what's the worst thing you've done or something.
Someone's already spoiled that, so everyone's like, don't you dare say a word. So
Who spoiled it?
Like one of those tabloidy websites.
I'll go watch that. I forgot it. I only saw a trailer for it once.
But it's like, oh, if Zendaya's not in the movie, and don't get me wrong, I love me some Zendaya. She's a great actress, but it's not a good movie. Like, okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
The bar's way too high, so you're going to be miserable every time you go to the movies. It's like Marvel. I don't care if they're not highbrow films. They're fun to watch.
They're actively destroying cinema, but it's fine.
You're going to have a good time. It's a superhero movie. You need to relax.
Yeah, this was really incredible. I figured I'd like it from the trailer, poster, stuff like that, but the way they went with it, I didn't know there was going to be a satanic cult, but it's in the description. I guess I knew. I guess I missed that part, but it was incredible. Great practical effects, and even the cast. You've got Zazie Beetz, Patricia Arquette, Tom Felton, Heather Graham. There was another one, and then Patterson Joseph, who I thought I recognized. I thought he was in the new Candyman, but I guess he just has a very similar voice cadence to the guy in Candyman. But great cast. I mean, it does have a 3.0 out of 5 on Letterboxd, which is good. It was higher
before it dropped. It was like 3.4 before.
I'll be happy with a 3. But I gave it a 4.5. So
did I.
Yeah,
I had so much fun with that, and people were already complaining before it came out, because that's extremely popular now, is to complain before movies come out.
It's the most popular thing to do. Hate things before you even give it a chance.
Yeah. That the trailer ruined everything. I've seen the trailer, and while you might think that the trailer is misleading, and I thought that was great.
That's a great idea.
What you expect is not what's happening, and that's really fun.
Misdirection.
The misdirections they did in the movie, I was surprised by.
Yeah.
And in a pleasant way. It was great.
Even in the cold open, I was like, whoa, okay. Wasn't expecting that character to make that choice.
Yeah.
Twice, actually. So, what do you say we get on to the topic at hand here?
For sure.
I can't speak. All right, let's roll into the body count. All right, so this is Fright Night from 1985, released on August 2nd of that year in the U.S., rated R for mild sex and nudity, severe violence and gore, mild profanity, mild alcohol, drugs, and smoking, and moderate frightening and intense scenes. Interesting. This is a runtime of 1 hour and 46 minutes, listed as a straight horror, even though I would argue there's definitely some mystery in there, maybe some thriller, but anyways. Directed by Tom Holland. Boy, this was really early in his career before he played Spider-Man, when he directed...
Before he was born.
No, the other Tom Holland. He directed Child's Play from 1988, The Langoliers, and Thinner. He also wrote this, and he wrote everything that I just mentioned, along with Psycho 2 and Fright Night from 2011. Composed by Brad Fiedel, who also did The Terminator 1 and 2, The Serpent and the Rainbow, and True Lies.
Yeah.
Cinematography by Jan Kaiser, who also did the cinematography for Bad Moon, which is a great werewolf movie, underrated, Fido, and The Thaw. Edited by Kent Beta. He edited This is Spinal Tap, Gremlins 2, The New Batch, and Scooby-Doo 1 and 2. Starring Chris Sarandon as Jerry Dandridge. He was also in The Resurrected that we just did recently as Charles Dexter Ward. William Ragsdale as Charlie Brewster. Funny enough, he's also in the sequel, Fright Night Part 2, as the same character.
I'm sure you'll mention it again later. He cameoed as a priest in Renfield.
I was going to save that for Renfield, but there you go.
Now you can say it in Renfield.
You told me to save it for Renfield, and now you're out here.
I said you could do it on the podcast, is what I said.
Amanda Burse as Amy Peterson. She was in 260 episodes of Married with Children as Marcy Darcy, which is hilarious. I used to watch that show when it was the only thing on at 5 a.m. and I was still up because I was 20-something. Roddy McDowell as Peter Vincent, who was also in Planet of the Apes and Escape from Planet of the Apes as Cornelius, and then Conquest of the Planet of the Apes and Battle for the Planet of the Apes as Caesar. Too many thes going on in there. And then we have Stephen Geoffreys as Evil Ed. He was also in 976 Evil as Hoax. Apparently he likes to have very bizarre names.
Yes.
Estimated budget of $9 million, grossing $24.9 million, filmed in Culver City in Los Angeles, California. It is not streaming anywhere, and I will reiterate that it feels like a sin. But you can rent it on Amazon for $3.99. Movies that came out around the same time, we have The Goonies, Daryl, Cocoon, Return to Oz, St. Elmo's Fire, Back to the Future, Day of the Dead, Red Sonja, National Lampoon's European Vacation, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Weird Science, and Real Genius, which I find hilarious that those came out around the same time, like back to back. I don't know why. Teen Wolf, Legend, and Howling 2, Your Sister is a Werewolf.
I've seen 9 of those.
Oh my God. Which is that more or less than the ones you haven't seen?
More.
Okay, so how many have you not seen then?
1, 2.
Oh my God.
3, 4.
Oh my God. This game is not fun when there's like 15
5.
movies. Yeah, this isn't fun. You haven't seen Daryl.
That's true.
You haven't seen Cocoon.
Correct.
You haven't
6, sorry.
My God. You haven't seen, have you Weird Science or Real Genius?
I've definitely seen both of those multiple times.
God, Jesus Christ. Return to Oz?
Yep, I haven't seen it.
Day of the Dead?
Correct.
Teen Wolf?
I've seen Teen Wolf.
And then Howling 2.
Howling 2, and then European Vacation.
IMDb summary. Charlie Brewster, a teenager believing that a newcomer in his neighborhood is a vampire, turns to an actor in a television-hosted horror show for help to deal with the undead. Let's go into the autopsy.
There's just an extra word there.
Yeah, it was very bizarre. I had to fix that. We'll fix it in post, probably. Leave all this in. Overall thoughts on Fright Night. This was like your second time?
Correct.
Cool. What do we got?
It's a really fun movie. You know me, I love vampire movies. I'm currently adding all the vampire movies I've rated on Letterboxd into a
master list.
Which it means I haven't added a bunch that I haven't watched since I started rating on Letterboxd. So I'm missing a crap ton of movies.
Dracula 2000 and 3000?
They're not on there.
Oh, we'll have to watch those, darn.
The Interview with the Vampire movies, most of the Twilight movies. I'm missing a lot of movies on there. So I'm just adding them as I go along.
Yeah.
But I have 27 on there so far. So obviously I like vampire movies.
What?
Yeah, it's weird. So this one's fun. It's very 80s. There's so much to enjoy with it. They did a lot of fun. They had a lot of fun with the effects, with the makeup, and a lot of this. What year did Lost Boys come out?
87.
87 was the year after?
2 years before.
2 years before. Sorry.
This was 2 years before.
So you can see that Lost Boys had to have taken some nods from this one, especially with those overhead flying shots, the POV from the vampires. I love that. That's one of my favorite things about Lost Boys is that flying perspective that works so well. It's just a really fun movie to watch. It's very quintessential vampire horror, which is probably why you picked it.
Yeah, most people might argue Nosferatu would be essential, Dracula would be essential, and while I'm not disagreeing with that, I just feel Fright Night was, and this could be totally wrong, please don't at me. I feel like Fright Night was one of the first vampire movies to do something a little different than what had been happening in the prior fucking 50 years of vampire movies, because there was a pretty established formula for a while, which we will get into.
And you're absolutely correct. Everything, not literally everything, but for the majority, because I'm sure there are outliers that I can't think of off the top of my head either.
I've got a whole thing here. Don't worry.
They all really follow that Dracula formula.
Yeah.
And while this one still has those beats hanging out in there, I get it. You don't want to stray too far. Because Lost Boys is the one that really just goes completely in its own direction as far as like story wise.
Yeah.
This one still made a big shift over.
Yeah.
It made it more focused on a teen. The vampire wasn't some dude who didn't clearly dress like he didn't know what year it was.
Yep.
He was living in a suburban neighborhood. They made big changes that made the story feel closer to home.
Yeah, exactly.
Feels like this could happen in my neighborhood. Not literally, but it gives that vibe.
No, that's how I feel. Overall thoughts for this, I think this is like my third or fourth time watching it. I didn't really enjoy it my first time watching it. I remember being like, oh, this is what everyone's freaking out about? Sure, it's fine.
I think I was also a little underwhelmed the first time. But
then revisiting it the second time, I remember being, okay, this is good. And then this time I'm fully aware of the merit of this movie. And that's another reason why I wanted to put it on here, because I know I'd only seen it twice and I'd been a fan of it the second time, but I was wondering, one more watch to solidify it, or at least for me. So I just think it's incredible. Great practical effects. This is Tom Holland's directorial debut, which is insane.
Solid debut.
What a way to come out onto the scene.
Good job not going with any Greek mythology.
Wow. Callback.
Austin would have hated it.
I would have hated it. But yeah, overall, for a $9 million budget, it looks incredible. It is such a great movie in so many aspects that we will get into. But I want to start with, this is what I want to start with. When did vampires get sexy? Right? That's what I want to start with. I have a whole list here, and I will
I don't know. Why don't you ask Chris Sarandon?
I will present my case. And now, see, and that's the thing. I'm not talking middle-aged man sexy. I'm talking like hot. When did vampires get hot?
I don't know. Why don't you ask Chris Sarandon?
So, starting in 1922, Nosferatu, not sexy.
No.
In fact, he might be the very polar opposite of sexy. Dracula, 1931, not necessarily hot, but alluring, charming, sophisticated, sure.
Yeah, definitely an allure. Dracula is set up as an allure. It took a while for him to go full-blown sexy.
Yeah. And then in the 30s, you really only had one other notable vampire movie called Mark of the Vampire. Bela Lugosi he's playing Count Mora in this, but still a Dracula character. So again, I go back to not necessarily sexy. And then in the 40s, you had a handful. Son of Dracula, Return of Vampire, House of Frankenstein, House of Dracula, and then Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. But again, Bela Lugosi returning for the Abbott and Costello. But they all kind of had the same look in the 40s. Then we get to the 50s, and this is when Hammer takes over. From 58 to 74, they make 9 vampire movies with Peter Cushing or Christopher Lee. Now, Peter Cushing's always playing Van Helsing. Christopher Lee is always playing Dracula. But again, it's a guy, I think he was about 36 when he first did a Dracula movie. So it's not like he's old. I'm 36. I didn't look like Christopher Lee. So attractive, yes. Would you have to look it up?
No, I just want to see what he looked like in that movie.
Yeah, go look. So yeah, go look up. Hold on. It's a Dracula movie from 1958. I can't remember, but it's a Hammer movie.
I was just going to go to Christopher Lee's page and backtrack.
Oh, that's going to take you a while. He's got hundreds of credits.
Yeah, I know how to set downsize, man.
But anyways, so Hammer in 1958 kind of revolutionized the character by bringing intense gothic color, sexuality, and violence to the screen, with Christopher Lee kind of becoming the definitive Dracula for a new generation. And the film's success in 1958 spawned the long-running series, starting with Brides of Dracula in 1960, which I don't think he's actually in Brides of Dracula, given the name. It's more about the brides.
You'd think that's what that means.
But so we're getting there, right? Christopher Lee is a very attractive man. Yeah. He's a good-looking guy. I don't necessarily think he's sexy.
Sounds like you like him.
Or hot.
Is it Horror of Dracula?
I think so, yeah. So then we get to the 70s. The 60s is kind of like Hammer is just dominating vampire films for the 60s. Sure, there's some other ones thrown in there, but Hammer is pretty much the one cranking out all the Dracula movies. Then we get to the 70s and we get Blackula in 72. William Marshall. Again, good-looking dude. Not necessarily young, hip, trendy, sexy. And then, of course, he would come back the year later to do Scream, Blackula, Scream. And then another notable one from the 70s would be Dracula with Frank Langella. Very much a Christopher Lee, Jerry Dandridge, or Chris Sarandon type character. So all of the Draculas from 50s, 60s, 70s even the 80s had the same look.
Yeah.
For the most part. But
Get the gray streaks.
Yeah, the first movie where I think vampires, and this is weird because I'm not huge on this movie, is The Lost Boys. I think that's the first one to make them young, hip, trendy. I think.
Yeah. So the thing is, and by the way, you are much more handsome than him at that age. Congratulations.
No.
I just looked at a picture and I'm saying definitively. So argue with a wall.
No, I am not more attractive than Christopher Lee, but thank you.
I am in charge of that decision.
Okay, well,
Anywho.
I'm going to call Christopher Lee now.
Yeah, because I was going to say, when did My Best Friend is a Vampire come out? It's 87.
87, okay.
87. No, it's the 80s. So Lost Boys is obviously vampires, but has this Peter Pan thing going to it. These the Lost Boys, Peter Pan's Lost Boys.
Oh, yeah.
They never grow up.
Yes, I wasn't thinking the name. I was thinking the story, and I thought wow.
No, there's like this nod to that, but yeah, before that, it's always one guy, one cryptic guy. One person knows, everybody else doesn't believe them, or he hasn't warned the right people. Blah 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 blah.
It's formulaic in a sense. They're doing different things, but they had a formula for so long, which isn't a problem.
Chris Sarandon, he took that and went. His character, it was he doesn't need to. He can be a vampire. He can be scary. And he can do the Dracula shtick. Oh, there's a girl from my past. And okay. He doesn't need to dress like he doesn't know what fucking year it is.
Yeah.
And they put him in those modern clothes and he got more. And suddenly vampire. Oh, that's a little bit sexy. Like he's a good looking dude. He's dressed very well.
The drip is unfucking matched.
The sweater looks so good. I was just like, I'm watching him. I was like, damn, is Chris Sarandon hotter than I remember?
No, he's always been that hot.
He's looking kind of rough in the Resurrection.
Well, yeah, he's slowly deteriorating, which in this, the complete opposite. He's just living forever.
And the Princess Bride, he's dressed for a Ren Fair and the best way possible, but still.
Yeah.
In this one, he is dressed sleek. He is dressed modern. We don't get that. And then right after that, you get Lost Boys, where I remember reading about the costume director saying that, the costume designer saying that she put these teenagers in these costumes that felt reminiscent of the time they were changed.
Right.
But still very much felt like they were current. They were alternative, but still current. And
yeah.
Yeah, they're sexy. And, like the two of the guys look like they're in an 80s metal band. I mean, they all look like that, but you know what I'm saying. And then you get a really hot teen guy who's looks a little bit bad, but he's really like a straight-laced older brother, and turn him into a vampire. Yeah, now they're really hot.
It reminds me very much of Sinners, where they showed that people in not in the future, but later in time, and they had dressed accordingly. Because it feels like that's what would happen. If you're around for that long, where are you getting these garments? What are they, hundreds of years old? You think you would adapt to modern times, so it just makes sense that you would dress in the decade that you're living and you don't stand out like a sore thumb. Yeah,
and I love that they poke fun of that in What We Do in the Shadows, where like everybody is in the movie version, they're trying to dress modern, but they have no friggin' idea, but they also can't see themselves. And
that's true,
in the show, they're all dressing for older time periods. They're all dressing vintage, essentially. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's funny because you see what year you're in. If you see other people, this starts to imply that, these vampires aren't just chilling out in crypts and waiting for people to drop by for them to eat. These vampires are getting out in the world.
They're doing things.
And it actually adds another layer, though, because that means if these vampires are getting out and being social and they're not just waiting for someone to roll up a sacrifice to their house, they could be anywhere. They could be anyone. Who you meet at night isn't safe.
Right. And, so I really appreciate that this movie did something, at least to my knowledge. If I'm wrong, please correct me, but it does feel like Fright Night was kind of a turning point for vampires. And even with the lore, we all know that I'm hit or miss with the lore. Just as long as you explain it and don't get weird with it, I'm fine. So We find out holy water apparently has no effect on them because Chris Sarandon drank holy water, and then they never really bring it up again. So I'm assuming holy water in this case doesn't do anything.
It might be like the cross where you have to really believe
have
in it.
Faith, yeah. And that's the thing. The crucifixes work, but you have to have not necessarily believe in God, but you have to have faith that it's going to work. I don't know. It's kind of loose with the
You have to believe that the power of that cross is real.
And then all wood hurts them. Like Jerry gets stabbed in the hand with a pencil and his hand starts smoking. I thought that was a really fun touch.
That was cool, yeah.
Doesn't have to just be a wooden stake through the heart. Any amount of wood stabbing them anywhere is going to hurt them to some degree. That is a natural, like how we take established vampire lore and just make it a little bit different, but not that drastically different. And then no shadows or reflections, of course, having to be invited in. You got your traditional stuff. Garlic is jokingly mentioned once and then never brought up again. I also like that Jerry Dandridge can eat. He's eating things. And I have a fun trivia on that we'll do later. Because it's never made sense to me that vampires, they just can't eat human food anymore. I don't know. It's just a weird thing that doesn't really make any sense, although it's vampires that aren't really real. So you can do whatever you want, but I just always found it odd that you couldn't eat real food. Now, in What We Do in the Shadows, it's hilarious when they all throw up. That's great. I'll accept it then because they did something hilarious with it.
Yeah, and it's really hit or miss with whether or not that's true. Like we were talking while we were watching, Buffy, Vampire Diaries, yeah, they can eat, they can drink. In fact, Vampire Diaries heavily sets up that them drinking, like alcohol, helps them curb the bloodlust. So if they are, it makes them less murder crazy.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's different. Not a really good precedent for a teen show, but
everybody get drunk.
It's better for you. But in other ones, yeah, they're like, no, we can't eat it. We can't stomach it. It doesn't work on us. It's kind of confusing. I think in some instances, it's really just a plot device. Do you want it to be easier for them to tell, like something's off, you never eat? Or do you want them to blend and make it harder for people to know they're a vampire?
Well, and in this, he only eats a specific type of food, and I'll get to why.
Yeah.
So we're following, the movie follows Charlie Brewster, who is, to me, exactly the kid who would not survive a horror movie.
Oh, yeah. No.
As he loves vampires, but apparently has no idea what the fucking lore is. I don't know why I didn't make that connection until this time, but he literally loves Peter Vincent, who is a vampire hunter on TV, doesn't know the rules, has to go talk to Evil Ed. What? I'm sorry.
And to take it a step further, this man has never heard the word subtlety in his life.
No.
He is literally just yelling from the fucking rooftops that this dude is a vampire, screaming it everywhere. And is like, bro, you could have, because at first he's like, well, I'm not going to say vampire because then the cops won't show up. But the second his plan with the cops starts to go awry, he just says, fuck it, starts yelling about vampires, and then spends the rest of the movie loudly proclaiming within earshot of a vampire that he knows he's a vampire. And he's like, bro,
subtlety.
Do you not understand that Jerry gave you an out, a straight up out of this entire situation? All you had to say was, and I understand you don't want other people to get killed. You don't really say that, but I'm guessing that's why you don't want to take the out. Yeah, bro, I'm going to leave you alone and then go formulate a fucking plan. How the fuck's he going to know you were lying? Like, boy's dumb.
Boy's dumb. And even if he told his mom that Jerry was a vampire, she wouldn't know, no one believes him. So that wouldn't have helped with him being invited into the house. But I do love the fact that after he comes back from finding out the vampire lore from Evil Ed's house, he's already in the house. So if you didn't leave, he probably wouldn't have been in the house.
Yeah, and he really isn't reliable to anybody, so he's not to be believed because, yeah, he's really big into horror.
Apparently.
In theory, maybe it's just the background noise he likes when he's making out.
Maybe.
And he's really into horror, but he doesn't know shit about horror. He is a terrible boyfriend, just a fuck-awful boyfriend. Like, bro cannot manage that relationship to save his life. So the fact that it's made it a year is amazing.
Well, Well, I think we're coming in at a point in time when all of this stuff is happening and it's weird for him, so he keeps getting distracted just at the complete wrong moments. Your girlfriend is speaking to you. At least say 1 second. He just gets up and walks. Like,
it's just yeah, he deserved everything she gave him, especially that burger to the face.
Oh, great.
That's good stuff. Good for her. Though her apologizing absolutely bugged the shit out of me. I need to say sorry. Sorry for what, girl?
It's my fault. No, it's not.
It's my fault. I wasn't ready to move on to the next step, and you got upset.
Clearly written by a man.
What? Okay, I was like, I don't care if it's been a year. You don't want to wait that long? Go date someone who's easy.
Yeah.
Or I don't want to say easy, but someone who doesn't want to wait that long. She wants to wait 3 years. That's her business.
That's the most unrealistic part of this movie is that a kid that age would wait a year.
But even if she did, that's her business and it's not your decision.
No. I'm 100% with you. It's just
but if you're apologizing, you got leave his ass.
Yeah, the therapy might help.
At least he came back around in the clutch and was like fighting tooth and nail to save her.
Yeah.
But he really sucks as a boyfriend.
He just sucks as a person, which is so funny because he's our central character, basically. And I don't really like him, but...
No, I don't hate him, but I don't really like him.
I don't... He's not hateable, but boy, you dumb. What are you doing?
Yeah. And the fact that your friends are treating this whole thing like a joke because they think the whole thing's ridiculous and they're trying to snap you back to reality just speaks to how often you likely get into these situations where you just freak out over something.
I mean, I frequently tell you guys about vampires and I'm never taken seriously, so.
Yes.
So with Charlie, the neighbor moves in almost immediately, and I really like how the movie doesn't rush things, but it also doesn't waste time.
Yeah. Keeps a steady pace.
I feel the pacing in this is very good, and then by the third act, everything ramps up into oblivion. But I mean, I think we're all on the same page that the first, the coffin's the first thing he sees, and just like him, vampire. There's no other explanation for bringing a coffin to the basement.
I mean, yeah, that's exactly what the fuck I'd be thinking. It's a vampire or
someone has a very weird kink or something. I don't know.
I will say we are at low risk for vampires because it's Florida, so it's obscenely sunny, and there are no basements.
Yeah. The definitely feels like they'd be more like a Seattle area.
Oh, that'd be fun. Vampires in Miami, like
Vice City vampires. I like it.
We don't have the budget. Go ahead.
No, he doesn't. So, he doesn't write anything off. He sees the coffin. He sees, what does he see next? The girl. Oh, that one girl disappears. And then he sees Jerry's teeth and his long fingers with the other girl.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, that's a vampire, And I'm just going to, like I said, I'll say it again. This entire movie could have been avoided if he just minded his own fucking business.
Also could have been avoided if Jerry closed his fucking blinds and didn't have hookers showing up to the neighbor's house.
And just taking their shirts off right next to the window, as everybody does in every movie ever.
Also, maybe have your coffin delivered a little more subtly than a very exposed coffin. You could have put that in a different fucking box and then put it in there.
Box, put it in a box and throw it downstairs, or back the van up that you had, and
to the entrance. And Jerry could have played it way fucking cooler.
At this point, I think he's at a point in his vampire life where he just doesn't give a fuck, But I think that's what makes this movie so fun, because we, the audience, are with Charlie, and everyone else in the movie is playing catch up. So it's a fun dynamic with the movie where not everyone believes him. We believe him because we're seeing it from his point of view. So watching everyone finally have it click for them at different points in the movie is great, because the first person to verify it outside of Charlie is Peter Vincent when he sees no reflection in his mirror. And then Ed and Amy, they still don't believe him. And then what takes Ed believing is being cornered by him.
Yep.
Getting turned into a vampire. And then Amy just has that moment at the club where he's using his allure to bring her over and do things against her will, which very creepy because she's supposed to be in high school and he is clearly in his 30s, but in real life, she is 27, and he's 33 made me feel a lot better.
I was like, just if it helps, I checked her age. She's 27, so in real life, she is not a teenager.
It helps so much more, but yeah, even still, it's like, why are we making her a teenager, and this man clearly someone in his 30s?
They also gave her some just absolutely abomination hairdos, like these really punky Brewster ass, but she's got a pixie hair ties in her hair to make her look younger, which I was like, why does she look like a grown adult with really dumb hair? And then the more he allures her and dances her, the more feathered upward her hair goes. And now she looks like she's in her 30s.
Like a full-grown adult.
Mother of two. And yeah, I think it's, honestly, if you really think about it, Charlie only fucking makes it so far through this film because of Jerry's good graces. Charlie repeatedly outs him, and Jerry's like, stop fucking around with me, kid.
Hey.
Don't do that.
Hey.
Ed, then they realize they know. He immediately offs Ed. 10 seconds into finding out that they definitely all know, he goes and kills Ed immediately.
Well, I mean, he makes him into a vampire.
Yeah, but I'm saying he didn't do that with Charlie. He harassed Charlie in his home. He let Charlie enter his home and put on this whole dumbass charade that he didn't have to do.
For Peter Vincent.
Yeah. He's literally letting all these shenanigans happen and letting Charlie wander around and just freaking Charlie out for fun. Ed dies immediately. Ed's barely involved, and Ed dies immediately.
Well,
so Charlie
he wants Amy, because that's the...
Well, yeah, but he could have absolutely killed Charlie,
Yeah.
killed Ed. Amy's just a sitting fucking duck. She doesn't know vampire lore. He literally just has to wait till she's alone, which would be a lot faster if everybody else was dead, and get her.
So is that an issue for you in the movie then?
No, I just think it's really funny that Charlie's only alive because Jerry just didn't feel like killing him right away.
Maybe he's just playing with his food, you know?
Fucking shenanigans.
He's just having fun.
Yeah, it is literally because Jerry has some sort of weird whimsy around Charlie, and everybody else is fucked.
Maybe he's just impressed at Charlie's gusto for being so unabashedly loud about things. Is that the right word? Unabashedly? Yeah.
Like he must find Charlie really amusing because
he's got to.
But Charlie would be 100% dead so much faster. This movie would have been over so much quicker if Jerry was like
any other vampire.
I don't have time for this. Snap.
Yeah.
The end.
But I think, I just think I really do. I think he finds Charlie just so fascinating. Like, boy, what are you doing?
You're dumb as hell.
Hell.
Now what are you going to do? You got the cops here and you still didn't succeed. Congratulations.
That was such a great scene because he brings the cop there, which, by the way, would never happen if you brought a cop there for, I guess it was missing women. So I guess whatever, Charlie would have been fine. But the cop doesn't bring, the lieutenant actually doesn't bring backup. He brings Charlie with him, which I don't know, maybe the 80s were different, but today that wouldn't happen.
You wouldn't bring the person with you to the house.
Yeah. And I guess he's tying it to the missing girls, but then it comes out that he thinks Jerry's a vampire. And then everyone just laughs in Charlie's face. And then, of course, the cop is very unhappy with him. Like, if I ever see you again, I'm going to arrest you for life. That's not how that works, but okay. What are the charges here?
Sure, bro.
Sure. So, and I mean, to be fair, if someone came up to me and, was like, my neighbor's a vampire, I'm not grabbing my cross. I'm going to say, I think you need to go to a therapist because those aren't real until you show me the proof.
Like, okay.
Like, that's very strange, but all right. So after he's exhausted all of his friends, his family, who does he go to? Or the police? Who does he go to? A fictional person on TV who slays vampires, which it doesn't hurt my rating or affect how I like the movie, but it makes no goddamn sense to go to someone who plays a vampire hunter on TV and be like, can you help me with the real one? No. What do you mean? It makes absolutely no sense.
Teenagers.
I mean, I guess that's fair. I mean, I would do some dumb shit too, but it's just so funny because he comes up to him. He's like, oh, you just want an autograph or something. Well, you can't blame him. But then when he's like, oh, you think a vampire's neck? Okay, I'm going to go now. I just thought that was such a great moment because he was just figuring he was a fan. But no, he needs help with the vampire in real life. Something Peter Vincent really is not qualified to do.
Well, and I think Charlie starts out by asking him, like, do you really, kind of leads into it, like, do you really believe? And he's like, yeah, I totally believe.
Well, because he's also said that on the last episode he was watching before he went to meet him.
Yeah.
How he really believes in vampires.
So maybe that's why, because he believes that it's more than that character to him.
He's being earnest about what he's saying.
Yeah. So I think that's why, is because he felt that was in earnest. And so he went with it. He's like, I don't know who the hell else to talk to. Nobody believes me. But if this guy believes in vampires, he might be able to help some way or another.
Yeah.
It's like, I need a fucking adult.
Yeah, I need an adult. But, Peter Vincent thought he was signing up for a weird fan interaction, not a boss fight with Jerry's character. But also, how accessible is this man? He is way too easy to track down for a TV. I mean, I guess that was local cable, possibly. But he just seems very accessible because Charlie's able to get to him in the production lot. Ed and Amy find his apartment. How easy is it to find this guy?
He's not well guarded as a secret.
I guess not. And I mean, you had the phone book in the 80s. But this is where I think the movie does something really smart here because it forces Peter to confront the truth because he's out of work, he's facing eviction. Amy offers him $500 and he's like, oh, yeah, sure, I'll do it for $500.
Yep.
So I'll go do that. So if she didn't offer that $500, he wouldn't have actually realized that vampires were real.
Yeah.
So I think it's fun that he's not playing a character who's tackling vampires. He's actually doing, or trying to, at least.
Yeah.
So I think that's a fun moment. And of course, that's Peter realizes when he doesn't have a reflection. And if you notice too, there's no mirrors in his house.
Yeah.
Which would be, I mean, it's not like a red flag, but there are there's mirrors in this house.
Yeah, but in our main living area, there's one very small mirror.
That's true. We have her. Yeah, that's true.
Because her play area has some mirrors in it.
All right. Well, with a house like Jerry's, there's
always antique mirrors.
There's always a 10-foot mirror somewhere. So I really like that, and I feel like the movie knows when to be funny and knows when to be scary too. It plays a very good back and forth because you have moments that are horrifying and then you have moments that are hilarious. Like the moments that feel genuinely tense, like when Jerry starts closing in on Charlie and all that stuff, all those moments are offset by humor that feels natural and not forced in there.
Yeah.
Like Ed's character, I know you didn't like. I just love him because what is this character on? Because I'll have two. He's just...
His laugh was grating. I'm sorry.
It's fine. He's just such a goofball. But I just think the balance of comedy and horror works very, very well. Because there's clearly things that are meant to be funny and meant to be scary. And they mix them quite well. How did you feel about the mixing of those?
No, I thought they did a great job. I always like when they have some levity in there. Because if you can't take it too seriously. There are some silly moments in life, and that's natural. We've talked about that.
Yeah.
But it is still scary. They had a lot of fun with it. They played around with it. They didn't settle too hard anywhere.
Right.
With what they were doing, and I think that really helped because prior to this, vampire movies may have been cheesy in an aspect, but they're all played seriously.
Pretty seriously.
Pretty serious. So to move into there is comedy in that area to be worked with because you also see that in Lost Boys, especially around the grandpa.
Gramps is my favorite.
Love him. It makes it more accessible, I think. It doesn't feel so heavy and it feels more natural.
Well, yeah, it's funny without becoming parody and it's scary without taking itself too seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a very good balance. Something that I really noticed on this watch was those intense moments. And you get a very intense moment of Jerry in the beginning when I forgot he showed his vampire form so early to Charlie. So you have that setup of, ooh, that's what he looks like. That's creepy. And then, of course, in the third act, it pays off even more because not only does he go full vampire, he goes werewolf, he goes fucking bat, he goes everywhere. And it's one of the few movies, vampire movies, that showcases a vampire in all of its forms: bat, wolf, and smoke. Because there's a moment where I feel like, you know, when he's chasing him in the alley, Evil Ed, and all of that smoke comes whooshing towards him and then whooshes backwards. I feel like that's him. I feel like they were trying to imply he was that smoke. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
No. Because Dracula turns into fog, so that's
what I'm saying.
That's fair. Yeah, this still sits in the vampire, like what can vampires do genre, because as time has gone on, vampires less regularly turn into other things, and even bats. Like, it's few and far between now, because it can end up being cheesy. That it comes out of nowhere. Like, even Lost Boys the next year, you hear the bat noises. You never see them as bats.
Right.
The most you get is that you can see and their feet look like claws.
That's cool.
But you never see them as bats, because that would have taken away from the seriousness.
And that's why it works.
Of that, the vibe, the tone of that film.
Well, and that's why it works so well in What We Do in the Shadows, or at least the show. When he goes,
because it's hilarious.
Bat! And then turns into a bat. Well, they also play bats. They're also bats in the movie, and they start fighting, I think, at one point or something like that.
Yes, they do. But in this case, they're still sticking close to home with that, but it doesn't feel cheesy. It feels scary. It feels, I don't quite know what this vampire is going to do. And I think it really sells because they do so many of these, like, really great puppets and prosthetics and stuff that make it really creepy and visceral.
Yeah, and that's when I love because a lot of that starts taking place towards the third act. And in the third act, they stop with the comedy. Basically, once Evil Ed gets turned into a vampire, yeah, he has his moment with Peter Vincent, but he was kind of he was the main comic relief, I would say. And then he turns, and then everything just starts becoming horrifying after that. And it just takes this you're not watching a horror comedy, like you're watching a full-on vampire showdown that is serious in tone throughout most of the third act. And then that's when you just get it is one of the wildest third acts, I think. Not just in vampire movies, it is just one of the most, they threw everything at the wall and everything fucking stuck. They're like, we're using all of this.
Oh, yeah. And they're all just running around the house. Sometimes they're just like, oh, we're all in the same room. Well, I'm running off to this other room. Pew, pew, pew.
Yeah.
And you're just like, where's everybody going?
Yeah. And I guess technically Jerry didn't turn into a wolf. That was Ed.
Yes, it was.
But you still get to see a vampire turn into a wolf. What was your reaction to the fake out of the wolf being Ed and not Jerry? Did you kind of expect that, or was that like, oh shit?
Oh no, I knew that was.
Ah, damn. Okay.
I mean, it was obvious. That's who he was.
And fighting. I know it wasn't a blow to you because you didn't like him as a character.
I did not.
But I love seeing the half man, half wolf being stuck mid transformation, because I don't think they transform like werewolves, but I'm sure there's a quick transition period.
Yeah.
And watching him slowly become human again was really cool.
Yeah, that's probably also why they don't really do the wolves anymore, to better differentiate between werewolves and vampires.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but that is part of, traditional vampire lore.
Yeah.
I think that's all I've got. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Was there anything else you wanted to touch on?
No.
Yeah, I really enjoy this movie. I think it is becoming a classic with me. Every time I watch it, I like it just a little bit more, just like maybe
just a little bit.
Maybe like half star more. It is a great time. I think that's all I've got. That's all you've got. I forgot to ask you this. Hottest vampire. What do you got?
Oh God, that's such a big question.
Hottest vampire. I didn't ask you in the beginning.
Of all vampire
Of
lore?
all vampires.
Oh Jesus. Okay. Off the top of my head, Eric Northman from True Blood.
Okay.
That's Alexander Skarsgård.
Alexander Skarsgård? Pennywise? No, that's Bill. God, there's so many fucking
Alexander Skarsgård.
There's so many Skarsgårds.
Who could spit on me and I would say, thank you.
Ew.
I'm wrong, though.
That's weird. I didn't... Are you into that?
No, I'm not. That's why it means something.
Ew. That's... I'm learning a lot of things today. Really just the one thing.
It's Alexander Skarsgård, for God's sake.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go with Vladislav from What We Do in the Shadows.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
I mean, it's Jermaine Clement.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so that is Fright Night from 1985. Let's roll into the final cut. Taglines: there are some very good reasons to be afraid, ... of the dark, coming to your neighborhood, and if you love being scared, it'll be the night of your life. Trivia: because of his theatrical roots and the long hours spent in the makeup chair, Chris Sarandon helped apply his own vampire makeup and often worked on the finger extensions while the makeup artists were putting appliances on his face. That sounds weird. It was Chris Sarandon's idea to have Jerry eating apples throughout the film. While researching vampire lore, Sarandon looked at information about bats and concluded Jerry had a lot of fruit bat in his DNA, which is perfect because he's only eating fruits. Great. I don't think it's just apples. I thought I saw an orange in there. The film's genesis came with Tom Holland wanting to do a vampire story crossbred with The Boy Who Cried Wolf. Avoiding using special effects at the expense of good acting, Holland included plenty of humor, warmth, and relationships. He also wanted to make it valid to a modern audience by rooting it in reality, hence the suburban setting. At the time this was being filmed, the studio was sinking all of its efforts into making a hit out of Perfect 1985, and they also gave high priority to the slugger's wife. Nobody paid attention to Fright Night, commented writer-director Tom Holland. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
Let him cook.
Look, Perfect is a weird movie, okay?
Yeah. The fact that Amy resembles a lost love of Dandridge's was Chris Sarandon's idea. He wanted Dandridge to have an added dimension and not just be some evil bad guy. And I was fucking right about the Hollywood backlots because this was filmed at the same Hollywood backlot of Tom Hanks' movie The Burbs.
Yeah, I didn't not believe you.
No, I just questioned myself because I thought this is a Columbia Pictures. They wouldn't be using Universal backlots. I didn't think. Yeah. And then much of the film's $9.5 million budget was spent on effects. It was the first vampire film to spend $1 million on special effects.
Wow.
Goofs. During the film's climax in the basement, Charlie and Peter break several windows all around the room, causing intense beams of sunlight to pour in from every direction. Obviously, this would not have happened, as the only direct intense beams would come from the east, given that this is happening around dawn. I don't think this person knows how light works.
Well, if your window's over there and over here, you're not getting a beam in this way. You're not getting a beam coming.
But light is still gonna come in.
It might be light, but it's not gonna be a beam of light. Yeah. That has to be a direct light source. So they're saying there's multiple direct light sources.
I guess.
Yeah. So I get what they're saying.
Charlie is supposedly a fan of vampire movies, but he learns from Evil Ed about things like stakes, garlic, crosses, etc. Things which should be familiar even to casual horror fans. And this is something I didn't even realize. But when Evil Ed comes to Peter's apartment, Peter physically pulls Ed in. He does not formally invite him in, which is required for a vampire to enter anyone's home. Yeah,
I clocked that immediately. But I took it to mean that as long as you're invited in, he is physically grabbing him and pulling him into his home. So it's not a verbal invitation, but he is putting him in his home. I want you in my home.
Yeah, okay.
So to me, I felt like that counted because he reaches out of his house and pulls him inside.
Got you. Okay.
Because it never says it has to be a verbal invitation.
All right, so rated 7.0 out of 10 on IMDb for our purposes of the Nightmare Index. That is a 3.5 out of 5, 3.6 out of 5 on Letterboxd, 83% on the Tomato Meter, and a 77% audience score. What did you give this movie?
I gave it a 4.
Oh, I also gave it a 4, which means that is a Frightmare certified slap. Haven't had one of those in a while. So with that being said, we are at a Nightmare Index of 3.78, which is quite high. That means it is sitting comfortably in between We Are Still Here at a 3.69 and Reanimator at a 3.84. Also, from last week, ended up in between Frankenstein's Army at a 2.78 and Megan at a 3.34 with having a 3.13. So this one's up there. This one is now number 6 on the Nightmare Index.
Nice.
Similar movies according to IMDb, we have Fright Night Part 2, Fright Night 2011, The Lost Boys, An American Werewolf in London, and Reanimator. Took a real left turn there with that last movie. Similar movies according to Letterboxd, Fright Night 2011, The Lost Boys, Fright Night 2, New Blood, which I guess is a sequel to the 2011, which I didn't know existed, Salem's Lot, and Queen of the Damned.
Nice.
What do you got for reviews?
Oh, yeah. That's why I was like, where are my reviews? I'm in the wrong spot on my phone.
That
Fine. I got it.
might help.
That's cool. Okay. 4.5 stars from Horror Syndrome. Jerry Dandridge stole Charlie's girlfriend and his boyfriend.
Oh, that's sad. Let's see. Yeah, that is not. There we go. No, there we go. 4 stars from Blair. If villain bad, why sexy?
I almost grabbed that one too. 4.5 stars from Sam Hain. Vampire weaknesses: garlic, crosses, holy water, wooden stakes, high school boys with ADHD.
4 stars from Tim Cop. Rolling up to the club in a designer sweatshirt is some real vampire shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
4.5 stars from Rhodey, spider emoji. 2 bros chilling in a spooky house, killing people because they're not gay. Do you know how hard I looked for one about that? Because there was like, so they're not together.
They're not. No rating, just a heart from single white femalian. She's definitely been on the show before. This vampire is a pedophile. And last but not least, from a circus rat. What? 4 stars and a heart. Imagine being a vampire living for all eternity with the name Jerry. Let's think about that. I don't think Jerry was a very common name whenever he was turned into a vampire.
I have this sneaking suspicion that's either short for something or he changed it for modern times.
It's short for geriatric.
Yeah.
Oh my God. If you enjoy the show, please rate and review on your favorite podcast app of choice. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Slasher Threads, and YouTube at Frightmares Podcast. Or email us, stayspooky@outlook.com. You can also follow me personally on Letterboxd at Dr. Proctor. You are?
Watson LMP 90.
Booyah. If you'd like to expand your movie podcast listening, be sure to check out the Shameless Picture Show, the Dead-Eyed Millennial Film Club, and 1 Week Rental as well. Check out the vast library of someone's favorite productions. They have so many podcasts. Next week, Corey and I will be doing Afflicted from 2013 as our deep cut pick, and it is not streaming anywhere.
Good.
I've been doing a lot of these lately, and I'm sorry. You have to rent it or own it, and it is an out-of-print Blu-ray, so you might have to rent it if you want to, or if you've seen it. That's fine, too. So until then, stay tuned and
stay spooky.
Thank you for listening. To hear more shows from the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network, please select the link in the description